Hello there and welcome to Python for Beginners Dynamic Data Type class number 12. I hope you're enjoying all the sessions, and isn't it easy? Python is very easy, so are all the programming languages. It all depends on your concentration, your commitment, your consistency, and so far you've shown tremendous energy and you've shown tremendous passion, and you all are aspired to learn higher concepts now, right? And I must congratulate you once again for coming so far, and that too, remaining in sync with all the videos is a big achievement. So for me, right, you can take 3 claps from my side. And once again, congratulations. But yeah, things may get a bit complicated day by day. That doesn't mean you'll have to give up on any different thing, right? So you need not to give up, because when the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? So you'll have to fight if anything is tough, right? And as promised, everything is going to get repeated in concurrent classes. The topics are going to repeat, lists are going to repeat, manipulations are going to repeat, not one time, twice, thrice, 4 times. So you'll end up becoming a professional, and I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. And you all are champs, and I believe you are doing a nice job, especially those who are answering regularly, right? And need not to move back, right? Because you have to maintain consistency, right? Consistency is basically a key for success as long as computer IT related programs are concerned, because we have in schedule for you major application developer, those who sustain and learn programming like pro. They'll end up becoming programmers, and they'll end up not becoming only programmers, because this session, I repeat and here I emphasize, is not only about learning programming for the sake of programming, but learning programming for becoming developers. We're not learning programming just because we want to be programmers. No, programming to develop things, and you will be able to develop applications like Gmail, Amazon, right, and etc, etc. Not only basic applications but also complex application. It depends on your commitment. So there'll not be any shortage of commitment and lectures from my side, but yeah, you'll have to remain motivated, and you'll have to believe in yourself, and believe in me, right? Because I keep on saying that you don't require to be intelligent. No hard work is required, no intelligence is required, but just the patience is required. At times you may have to watch the lecture 2 times or 3 times to really get it through. All right, and I wish you all the best, and let's quickly get started with today's topic, which is dynamic data types. So I'll quickly jump to idle. Right, dynamic data types in Python. Yeah, I yesterday made a mistake. I would like to apologize for my mistake that I made yesterday regarding prime numbers, right? Because I was somewhere else at that moment in time, because these days it's quite hectic recording 4 to 5 lectures a day, right? So at times things do get over my head, and I also start pitching bouncers at times. So my mistake, so pardon me for that, right? So let's get started with dynamic data types in Python. For example, now how do you make things dynamic, right? So for example, if I take input, right, or we can call this as inputs, because input is a keyword. Input keyword, we say like this: I want to take input. So I cannot say input is equal to input, because input is already keyword. So I'll say inputs. Inputs is equivalent to input, and the message that I'm going to give back is input, right, comma, separated values, right? We know that we have to deal with CSV files. Once you inshallah move to data analytics and you move to data sciences, and there you'll see that we deal with CSV files, which are comma separated files, and we deal with TSV files, which are tab separated files, and Excel files also for data analytics. And we do take help from Power BI, Microsoft, for analytics, and pandas and different things, right? So there you'll have to deal with comma separated values as well. So it's my job to make you ready for much bigger things. And if I say print comma separated value, which are inputs, right? So nothing, okay, I have this bad habit of terminating, please pardon me for that. Okay, now let's do this. Let me enter some comma separated values. For example, I'll say 10, 20, 40, 50. So now these are comma separated values, and I get them printed as it is. Right, so now if I dynamically, let's say I want to convert them dynamically, right, and I want to take them inside a list. So what I do here, I will say L as in list is equal to inputs dot split. Now split is a condition, right? Split basically takes a condition, right, where you want to split the data. So in my case the condition is comma. Now for example, if I input 1 2 3 4 5, right, so this is my input. Now I say inputs dot split, right, and assign, because it returns a new string that is going to be assigned to this L. It returns a new list, I suppose. So let me see that first, because if I'm not wrong, it returns a new list. Yeah, comma separated values. I will enter 1 2 3 4 5. Now you can see I is not defined. I have to, okay, so now I'll do it again. 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, it returns a list, string type list, right? So now you can see that whenever you say inputs dot split and takes a condition, right, 1 2 3 4 5, it returns a list, right? So it will return us something like this. So I'll say this 1, it is going to return, right? Second element is going to be 2, right? Third element is going to be 3, and fourth element is going to be 4, right? And fifth element is going to be 5. So far very nice. Now what is this split doing here? For example, I have entered 1 2 3 4 5. It is going to split and make a list out of it on the basis of comma. Wherever split function finds comma, it's going to make a list out of it. So this is going to be first comma, it's going to be first element of the list, and second element of the list, third element, and fourth, and so on and so forth, right? So now this is how we split, right? Now if I print L, now you can clearly see I'm printing, or I can print all of them, right? For example, I want to print all of them, so I can use let me say this, for n in L. L is lists, and loop through, data will go to n, right? And I can print n, I can print them in a single line. So this is a process that you can use to delete commas. Now you can see 1 2 3 4 5. Now in case you say I want them in single line, so I'll say and is equal to blank. So now while giving and is equal to blank, we are going to get them. So now I have created a dynamic function, right, or a dynamic process to remove commas. Now you can see 1 2 3 4 5, and commas have been removed, 1 2 3 4 5. So this is the logic behind it, right? So split is going to split and create a list on the basis of condition, and that condition can be given here. For example, I say plus. Now the condition is plus, right? And what I can do, I can say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 comma 5. Now I said comma 5 also, right? So comma 5 is going to come as it is, right? Because the condition for the split is only split wherever you find plus, right? 1 2 3 4 5, and now I am printing them in a single line using this for loop. So this is how we split, and split has basically a condition, right? And what else? Can we convert the list to tuple? For example, we have this list. Now I want to convert this list to tuple, right? I can say TP, which is tuple, is equal to tuple. So we have to call this function tuple. The moment I call this function tuple and pass list to this function, and I can say print TP. Now you can say that we have, instead of a list, now we have a tuple 1 2 3 4 5, right? And now we can say that, you can see the square braces are gone, right? And this is a tuple. So now this is how we have converted it to tuple. You can convert a list to tuple by using the tuple function and passing one parameter to this tuple function, right? So this is how we can convert to tuple, right? And now what are sets? As I have said already, sets are unordered immutable sequences of unique elements. So I'll repeat, unordered, immutable, right, which cannot be changed, but they are sequences of unique numbers, as I have already shown you that, for example, we have input a number. So far this is understood. So let me delete this, or let me keep it like this. Okay, let's say a is equal to, now we know this is nothing but a set, so I'll say 10, 20, 30, and 40, and I say print a, right? So I'm going to get a list, right? So input comma separated values doesn't make any sense now, so I'll have to just comment it. Now we are getting 10, you can say, now we are getting 40, 10, 20, 30. So now it's not sequenced, right? As I said, sets are unordered, immutable sequences. Immutable, it cannot be changed. Unordered, it does not keep order. Once it does not keep order, it is not going to keep indexes as well. Alright, so far this is understood, but yeah, it has this feature of removing duplicacy, right? So you can see that duplicacy is removed, 40 is coming only for once, despite of 40 being 2 times here, 40 is taken only for once, right? So how do you declare? For example, I'll have to make you guys ready for examinations as well. Not only for examinations, you guys need to be ready for interviews as well, right? Only when you prepare for an interview today will you be able to qualify them tomorrow, right? So that is a prerequisite, right? Things are not meant to be deliberated and procrastinated without any reason. So we have to prepare, right? And you have to actually take use of this lockdown up to the extent, the moment you say that I'm not going to let the lockdown take better of me, let me take better of the lockdown. So that is something that we as humans require motivation every time, right? And you guys are gold, right? So let's get started again. Now, I am in habit of motivating students every now and again, because I know those who are watching, I promise you, those who are watching at this moment in time are real treasure. Right? If you had no interest in learning, you would never watch, right? Because people tend to lose focus in lockdowns. They tend to lose their mental balance, right? So you guys are, very content and committed, right? So that's why I keep on telling you. And you may get this: how do you declare an empty set? Make an empty set. How do you make an empty set, right? So I'll say C is equal to set. Now this is how we make an empty set. For example, if I say print C, you can see clearly, right? So you're getting a set, right? C is an empty set. Or you can say print type of C. You can clearly see that it is set, right? So this is how you declare an empty set. And then you can say pop values automatically. You know that sets are not iteratable, as I have said already, right? And now how do you find total number of elements in a set? Second question, how do you find total number of elements in a set? So this is a set, right? I say print, I'm printing a set. But how do you find total number of numbers in a set? So I have told you using this length function. It's also exam essential and interview essential. So it's 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The length is total 4, right? Is that understood? Okay, now let's carry on. Now is it possible to convert string to tuple directly? Right, so remember, in string we don't have any separator. So the question is, let me comment it for you. Right, so single quotes or double quotes are both applied for comments in in Python. You can apply both of them. So for example, I say value is equivalent to input. Now what is the question? I forgot to write the question. The question is it possible to convert, right, string to tuple directly, right? And I will say when there is no when there is no separator. So for example, there is no separator like here. Once we said split, the separator was comma. Alright, so we can see that. So I'll say input numbers and I'll say print v okay, and now say print trying to convert convert. So I'll say trying to convert a string to tuple. And remember, we have no separators right here. Okay. All right. So if I say print, right, and I'll say tuple, tuple of v. Now I pass this v to this tuple function. All right. So let's say what happens. Right. So input numbers 10, 20, 30, or we can say any string. So I don't need separators. So because we are not getting separator as a condition. All right. So I'll say 10, 30 because input is taken as string here. Now you can say 1 has gone to the first tuple, 0 to another, third is comma, right, and then we have 3, then we have 0. Even comma is taken as an element of a tuple right here. Or if you want to convert a normal string, input string, right? So I'll say input string, that is the question, by calling the tuple function. I will say hello. Now you can say hello has been converted to a tuple. This how easy this tuple function is, right? Right. So now this is how you can convert. Yes. Answer is, how do you answer this? So the answer is by using tuple, right, function, right, and passing the parameter here will return a new tuple, right? So that is the answer for you. Now we know that lists, right, and how do you create an empty list? So I'll say A is equivalent to this. So this creates an empty list, right? Is that clear? Is that understood? Yeah. Slicing you already know, right? Append you already know. Extend you already know. Insert you already know. Count, remove you already know. Sort. Okay, now let me show you sort. For example, I have, now sort is also, for example, node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to sort it in a order, right? So let me say that 1, 3, 2, 5, 4, right? So I can use a dot sort. So a dot sort is going to return, right? So I'll say print a dot sort. Sort is going to sort, right? Right, so you can say none a dot sort. Why? What happened? A is equivalent to 1, 3, 2, 5. Let me see this right here. So this is already sort. What are we getting? A dot sort sorts the list, right? I don't know why are we getting this. It doesn't take any parameter, which we've seen it previously as well. Alright, so I'll say A is equivalent to A dot sort, and I will say print A, and let's see what do we get. Yeah, we're getting none. So A has to be list, right, first, and we have to sort it out. Alright, so we've done sort in the previous class as well, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we did 2-3 times. So let me show a few more things. For example, in lists we can use many different things, right? For example, if I say give me, so let's forget it and see first. If I say give me the length of A, right? So I should get 5. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. If I say sort, sort takes basically, it is like A dot, A is the name of the string, so I'll say A dot sort, and we are getting none. So why are we getting none? So maybe sort takes any type of parameter, I suppose. Who knows whether it takes any kind of parameter, right? Split is there, sort is there, join is there, right, and list is there. Alright, so we have many different things. Alright, before we start with exception handling, so we'll have to basically see what we can do. So let me try some other functions. Alright, so for example, let's say I have a string is equivalent to hello, right? And A is equivalent to, let me have this, A is equivalent to list of S. So can we convert a string to list? And then we'll see. Yeah, we have converted. So I can say print A, right? So HELLO. So we have been able to convert this string to a list, right? So that is done, right? And if I say, let me say, okay, for example, I say C is equivalent to, let's say if I say C is equivalent to underscore, right? Will I be able to join this then? Right, so then I say B is equivalent to, which is C dot join A. So let me see what do I get when I print B. Yeah, join should happen, HELLO. Now we can see that what this join does is, right, once you convert, this is your string, you convert it to list. So far you understood it. So once you convert it to list, this is going to be list element 0, E is going to be element number 1, 2, 3 and 4 elements, right, starting from 0, total 5 elements. Now when you say this C has now only one element, which is this underscore. But once you say C dot join, you say join with CA. Alright, so it's going to join with every single character. So after H you will have underscore, after E you will have underscore, L underscore, and so on and so forth, right? So this thing is done. Can I do this? For example, can I do space? So let me get rid of this. So I can say B dot join, converting the string to list and then joining empty string, maybe a bit of space, and let's say print B. I don't know, yeah, it's working. I can see it has created space automatically, right? So space has been joined after every character. So join is working for us, right? And split, now let us say split has already worked. We have already seen split, but yeah, what if I do this? B is equivalent to A dot, what if I don't supply any condition, right? You can clearly see here, what if I do not supply any condition in split? What is going to happen? So let us see. Right, so once I said A is not defined, what is A not? S dot split. Now if I say S dot split, now you can see it has taken it in the list, right? Or if I can do something like this, so I'll say A is equivalent to, call the list function and pass S. Now I can say A dot split, right? So if I call split with A, what is going to happen? Right, so it does not have any attribute known as split. So split is basically with strings, as it separates, right? What else is there? Okay, I should be able to split as well on the basis of conditions. I don't get it. So A is equal to list of A, SPLIT, and then B. Let me see. This, yeah, it splits. S dot split, yeah, split, right? It is converting it directly to list, and without having any condition means that, for example, if I give condition of split as this, so what if the condition is not there? So it's not going to, because there is no condition of split. Split is going to take this entire thing, right? And for example, if now it has spaces, right? So if it has spaces, now you can see it is going to become something else. So by default, split takes, if the split takes no argument, so I'll say if split, right, has no arguments given, right, so it takes, or it splits, right, on the basis of spaces, right? Now you can say H has space, E has space. Now let's say HE does not have space. So HE is going to be in one element and remaining are going to be in other elements. So this is how split is working for us, right? And join, we have seen. Only thing that we have not seen or we have not been able to find is sort, Alright, is there anything else that we have not seen? We're already done with sort. I know we made some big mistake with sort. So let's not get stopped. Let's not stop on sort, right? Let's get carry on. Alright, so let's carry on with the remaining things. Alright, so we will be starting with the second thing, that is exception handling today. Alright, sort we have already done. If you're not sure, right, if you're sure, then go back to the video. But still, I still have that thing stuck in my mind, that why wouldn't that work? Alright, so we'll have to see that first once again so that it works. Right, sort is always going to sort the list. Alright, so let me try it once again. So I'll just delete it for you. So let's say L is equal to list. Alright, and I will say L dot let's say about APPEND append 1. Alright, so I'll say print L. So append is going to take the character appended at the end. So I'll say L is equal to list, and I still have this bad habit of. Right, so that is absolutely fine, but I have to declare the list with parentheses. Okay, now we are getting 1, so that is not a problem, right? So now if I say append 1, or I can say L is equal to list, then I will say L is equal to, let's say about 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. Alright, and I say print, so I get 1, 2, 3, 5. And let me take 4 here, so I'm not getting. Right, so I can say L dot sort. What if I call sort? It should be able to sort, but it is giving us none. It sorts the list, right? So that is where the problem is, right? Okay, what else is there? Let me take a look if there is something that I'm missing. Right, so, or maybe we are doing it something we're doing something wrong here. Let's start with topic number 2, and let's keep the list just like this. After dynamic data types, we will be starting with exception handling in Python, right? Okay. So what is exception? Now there are two type of things. One is an error, another is an exception. So error is not going to come at runtime. Error is, for example, without even running it. For example, if I don't close it down, so I will run the program. So this is an error, invalid syntax error, right? So I will not be able to execute. But there are few things which may generate an exception. For example, I'll give you an example of exception. Exception, I will say I'll say num1 is equal to, right, integer, right, enter a number, right? So I'll say enter numbers as long as this is concerned. So, and or we can say enter first number, right? So that's absolutely fine. So I'll enter the first number here, and I'm converting it to int and taking it as input, right? So this is something that you know already, right? But I'm showing you exception today. So then I'll say sum is equal to num1 plus num2. This is also that you know. So I'll say instead sum is also basically a keyword. I'll say s. So I'll say int num2 will take enter first number and enter second number. So num2 num1. Okay, we know this. So let me say print s. Now if I run this program, so this run is going to work as expected, did not generate any error, but it is going to generate an exception. For example, if I give 2.3, right, and I can see clearly, right, because you are invalid literal for int with a base 2.3. So this is an error. I still terminate it. This is not an error, sorry, this is an exception. If I say 10, fine. Alright, okay, we still have some problems here. I'm getting this. If I say 10 and I say 20, 30, absolutely fine. If I say 10.1, you can see I'm generating an exception. This is coming at runtime. Alright, right? So what is this called as? This is called as an exception. Right, so there are different type of exceptions that we can catch, that we can handle, and in order to stop the server or stop Python interpreter, right, in order to stop Python giving you error, if you want to handle it yourself, right, and if you want to say, hey Python, I want to generate some custom errors, I want to generate some user-defined errors, what is it? My user is not going to understand it, right? In case if the user does something wrong, or in case if the user prints something that user doesn't have to, or gives an option, or maybe he enters something he was not meant to enter, right? So he enters something very wrong. So then what we have to do, we have to handle that exception. Now what I do right here, I'll put this code. So this is the code which is generating an exception. So I will put the code. I'll say this is try, right? I'm asking, hey Python, will you try, right? Please try. If you try, what to execute this code, but except, all right? If it generates an exception, right? Right. So I will say if it generates an input, or we can say exception. If it generates exception, all right? I repeat, try to execute it. But if it generates any type of exception in here, all right, what you got to do here is that you do something like print, right? I'll say print wrong input. So now let us try doing the same thing here. Right, now enter first number 10.5. Now you can say enter name. Num1 is not defined. What is happening? Yeah, so it is outside, sorry, it's outside the try catch block. I will print everything in the try catch block. Okay, now let's take on in the try catch block. So for example, if I write 1020, so there's no problem. Now in case if I write 10.5, now you can say wrong input. I was able to handle the exception, right? Right, I did handle this exception right here. You can see that if I don't try and catch the exception, I'll not be able to give user-defined messages. Here I am able to generate user-defined message that it is a wrong input. Okay, user may say, okay, I have done something wrong. Let me type correct input. So correct input can be E. Now you're still getting wrong input. So this is, now you have been able to handle the exception. You have been able to stop runtime errors, which are exceptions. Exceptions do not come if there are syntax mistakes, right? So exceptions do not mean syntax, that those are errors. If you're having problems in syntax, so those are errors, right? So you have to understand that there are many things, right? For example, you have to use try catch if you're handling files, if you are reading from the file, and if you're writing to the file, right? Or you can say, you can print the exception. I'll say except means catch the exception. So this is try to execute this code. If you're not able, this piece of code generates exception, right? And then what you got to do is print or catch the exception as E. Now what I said, catch this exception as E, and E is nothing, it's an alias that has been given to this E. Now I can print this E as easy as anything. Now I'll say enter the first number 10, enter the second number 2.2, invalid literal for int with base this. Now this is not user defined. Now you can see you were getting the same error here, invalid literal for int with base this. Now you're getting user defined, not in red but in the color you want. Alright, and if you want to give user defined, you can say wrong input string, right? Or you have given a wrong input, right? I can say 2.3, which is because why is the exception coming? Because I am supposed to give int. Now if I take it to float, so there's not going to be any exception, right? If I take it to float, so now you can see no exception, no except block. This block is called only when exception comes. So I'll say 10.4 and 12.5, 22.9, so we don't have any exception. But even if I supply int, so it's not going to generate any exception. But if I say hello, what is hello? Wrong input, right? So you have been able to, this is called try and except block. In normal programming language, they are known as try and catch blocks. They are called as try and catch blocks in C hash, in C++, in Java, in PHP, in Perl, in so many languages they are known as try catch. But in Python, they call it except. Try to execute, and this is except means exception. You're catching exception, and this is an alias. If you want to print, you can print, or you can type simple catch exception. So this is also not a problem, right? Okay, fine. So I can say else. Now what is this else doing here? Not in the body of exception. I'll say here, I'll say else print done, right? So this is called as finally block. So I'll say 1. So it is enter second number 1. So you're getting 2.2 done. So this is a piece of code which is going to run even if exception comes. This is going to run. For example, if I generate an exception, let me try and generate exception here. For example, if I type R, wrong input, string. So you can see that that it has not. Okay, no, it has not basically run. Yeah, it is basically only going to run, right, when there is no exception. So this is going to run when there is no exception. For example, if there is no exception, 10 plus 10.4 plus 3 point, or 33 is going to be 43.4 by any means. So you can see you are getting done. So done you can keep even directly here, right? And now in that case, 10 plus 10, you're still getting done. Right, so now forget about this for this moment in time. I'll show this later on, because once I handle the exception, this is useful. This else block will be very useful using input and output streams when you start writing to files, but at this moment in time it's final, right? So this is sufficient for you. If there is any exception, try to execute this code, because I hint, or I suspect the code, this piece of code will generate an exception, right? I want to give user-defined message, and I'm able to give those user-defined messages. So what is an except block? The block of code of except contains the error handling code. What can we do there? We can execute specific code for specific exceptions, right? We can group certain exceptions, right? And we can do many different things right here. But yeah, it's a very good tool at our disposal. Exception handling is pretty well. Right, so it's not easy to have that it's not easy to give user some errors that are not human readable. Right, your errors should always be in a format, right, or we can say in human readable format, right? So that's what you understand, right? So now one of the best things that we are going to understand, and I've given you the glimpse of this zip function, right? So this is also among dynamic types. We just seen glimpse of this zip function. Zip is a built-in function, iterates over multiple iteratables, right? So we already know that what this zip does, right? And there are many different things that we do not even know what zip is going to do. But yeah, zip is a very good thing that we have to learn, and we have to learn actually everything that is available to us, right? And dictionary is one of the best things here. Right, so that's also one of the best things, right? But before starting with this zip, let me take a look at the timings. Okay, we're still at 38, so it's going to be too long. Right, so we still are stuck. I don't want to basically go without resolving that problem of sort. Right, I still have that thing. So for example, if I take vowels is equivalent to, I want to sort them. For example, vowels is equivalent to E, A, E, I, O, U. So we have this A, E, I, O, U. Yeah, everything is in here. Now, for example, if I say print, I don't know what wrong I was doing, so I will say vowels. Right, so I'm not going to get them sorted. E, yeah, if I say vowels, right, so VOWELS, I spell it wrong. So I'll say vowels dot sort. If I say vowels dot sort, right, VO, it should show, it should sort it down, right? Yeah, AEIOU, what happened to this earlier? Right, yeah, we were doing one thing wrong here. We were printing it directly, I suppose, vowels dot sort, we were getting none. Yeah, that's what we were doing wrong. Okay, thank God. At the end of the day, right? So we were able to handle it. This is basically in the blood of programmers. We don't handle exceptions. We will not be able to sleep without removing or resolving a problem, right? So now this does not return a new list. I basically my mistake. So vowels dot sort never returns the new list but updates the old list. So now unlike, because I forgot, why should it return a new list? Because list is what? It is mutable, right? So it can, vowels dot sort can update vowels because list is mutable. I had that thing in the back of my mind, as if it was not list, it was tuple, right? Because those tuples are immutable, right? So we are able to handle it like a pro now. Let me try a few more things now. If I say 1, 3, 4, 2, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is missing. So if I say sort, okay, let me type sort. Yeah, we are able to sort 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, vowels dot sort can never return. Actually, it cannot. Right, it cannot return a new list because list is mutable, right? Last time I asked you, maybe in the first or second class, I asked you to whether string is mutable or immutable. You said string dot replace, right? So string dot replace returns a new string because string is immutable, right? So here list is mutable, and this thing is also solved, and I wish you all the best. And now what you got to do is practice this more, and I promise you guys, within a month, developing, not designing, I repeat, developing complex web applications using the same program, and instead of this list, retrieving good things from the database, right? And from tomorrow we'll be handling complex types. We will be reading and writing to the file. So we will be going for input and output streams. Before in the 14th class, we will start with object-oriented concepts using Python, and I want you to be in sync with me, right? Today's question is nothing but it is a feedback. All right, so I need you to give me the feedback about the learnings, right, and the pace of learnings, right? How are your learnings going on? Right, and what is the pace of learning? Do you like the pace of the learning? And even the content, right? And even if you expect any change from my side, right, except from you advising me against my motivation point, so that's the duty of your instructor. Everybody should do that, as I have told you on day one, that instructor is an instructor who takes a blank page and writes it over, right? Writes over a blank page. And for me, all the students are watching this time a blank page, and I'm taking my pen and writing it over. So I would not want to write bad things, right? I would rather try, and it should be my prime duty to write good things, and that's what I'm doing, right? Doesn't matter if I succeed or not, but yeah, intentions are correct. Right, so let me know your feedback down in the comment section, and those who have not answered, it's their duty, right? Whosoever is watching, right, whosoever goes through the lecture, please give me the feedback down in the comment section. It helps us improve, and your valuable feedback will be highly appreciated. And tomorrow it's going to be a bit complex. Be ready for that and complete all the previous lectures. Until then, bye bye, take care, see you, may Allah bless you, bye bye.